Okay, Guru Nation, welcome back to another episode. This is not a podcast, not long enough.
See the democracy.
Yes, so I got a list of questions for Carlos. Carlos, first of all, you're getting like super famous, man. How do you feel about this?
Super famous? Do you want to be super famous?
I don't think I'm that famous.
When's the book coming out? People are asking like, when's the book coming out?
Working on it next year.
Okay, working on it.
Next year.
So I just chose the questions, CRC interview questions. Okay, Carlos is a study coordinator, and we also have Chris. Let's not forget Chris Sauber's here. Okay, we're all 6 feet apart. Okay, you can measure it virtually, digitally. We are 6 feet apart, observing social distance guidelines, and the question is about CRC study coordinator interview questions. I've interviewed coordinators before. Chris has interviewed coordinators before. The last video I've done on this topic was like 8 years ago, so it needs a refresh. And it needs some fresh perspective from this man right here, who's like coordinator of the year, if there was such a thing, award in the industry. Carlos, Dr. Hazen says such great things about you. So, how many times did you actually interview for a coordinator? With us first, right?
Yeah.
Or did you interview with anyone else in research before us?
No, just you guys actually.
Okay, and then before you worked here, how many places?
How many jobs before?
Yeah. For coordinator.
Coordinator? None.
None. So okay, so 2. Well, that's 2 more than me.
2 jobs as a coordinator, but I've only interviewed once.
Oh, so you got this one without even interviewing?
Yeah, it was just a phone call.
Well, it's kind of an interview.
And that's because I referred you,
just,
huh?
hey, when can you start? Was that a phone call?
That's what it felt like. It was like, hey, are you a coordinator? Do I have the right phone number? And how soon can you come in?
So I put in a very good word for you. That's
Yeah.
why.
How soon can you start?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
That's a
go
good
with
interview.
let's go with interview
And
questions.
not interview.
Yeah.
Let's go with interview questions that we asked you when you were research naive. Okay. Who interviewed you? Me and Chris?
Yeah.
So is it the exact same setup?
Yeah.
Or are we 6 feet apart?
We were at a table.
It was around. Yeah.
We're in the conference
round
room.
table.
At Breakthrough 1.
I think
Okay.
you were sitting there and he actually was.
So it's the same exact setup, guys. We're recreating 2012.
It was the triangle then, too.
Yeah.
So what did we ask you?
I have no clue. I think it was just like. What do you
This
know
video is
about
going
research?
great. What do you know about research?
Yeah,
Okay.
that might have been one. I think.
He's just making stuff up. You don't know.
Well, I remember one of my
This
answers.
was like 8 years ago.
It was, but I remember one of my answers was. Well, I remember having like a research class. So I thought I knew what research was, and I was like, yeah, I know about research. And so I might have just talked about what I learned in school. That was about it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember it either, but we have interviewed people before. Let's start with Chris.
Okay, let's start with Chris.
There's 2 types of coordinators, right? There's the ones you hire for potential, like this guy, who obviously worked out well, where you know they're research naive. Okay, and then there's the other type where it's like experienced. So obviously your questions are different for each, but let's start with the research naive.
Okay.
What questions do you ask? And this is going to be beneficial also for you guys in the CRC Academy.
What questions
And
do
you
you
already
ask?
have a leg up on the industry with the CRC Academy because you have the internship. So anyways, what do you did? I've interviewed people with you. So like, what do you typically look for? Maybe not what you ask, but what do you look for? And then how does it come across as questions during the interview?
What do you look for?
Yes.
That's
For research
what you wanna
naive.
know?
Let's go research naive.
Probably personality, right?
Okay, explain.
Well, are you going to get along with this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends. It depends on the setup. Is this a large clinic? Is this a small clinic? Is this a one coordinator clinic, right?
Yeah.
Because
Mid-size. Let's say mid-size.
mid-size, are they willing to learn? Do they work well with others?
Mm-hmm.
It's mid-size. I'm assuming there's going to be others, right?
All right, but how do you ask these things? Like, or you can just tell.
I don't know. You have a conversation.
So you don't even ask questions. You just have a conversation
Sure.
with people.
Sure.
Okay.
I think, matter of fact, in all the interviews I've ever done, it's more a conversation.
Yeah, me too. Thing I've done, I've probably interviewed more than you because if you count Anaheim, I used
Sure.
to hire like every 3 months over there. So I always get people like Carlos who are research naive because I think I can groom them better, at least at that time.
Grooming.
Groom them
Yes.
into being a coordinator that I want. And so what I don't want, here's what I don't want when I interview a research naive coordinator. I don't want to hire you, put in all this time to train you, and then you leave because you decide you don't like that job. So if you're research naive, you probably don't know what being a coordinator is. Me as an employer, I don't want to hire you. I want to make sure that what your expectations are in research. Because, some people think, oh, study coordinator, we're going to be doing like these fancy research that they do in academia.
Sure. We'd be working with petri dishes and
Or doing case studies and
Right.
analyzing the data. You're not doing any of that as a study coordinator. You're just collecting
gathering
data. I mean, look at these books here, okay? We're just collecting data and we are putting them in EDC system, right? Usually. So that's what I look for. And then depending on my therapeutic specialties that we
So
do
what
at the site,
So you ask, what do you think research is?
I say, what are your expectations? Like, what do you know about research so far? Like, what have you learned about it? If they haven't learned anything about it, and we've had this interview scheduled for even a week, that's not a good sign. That means they're not being proactive, learning about the industry. I don't expect them to know much, but I do expect them to have an answer when I ask that. What do you know about research so far? And believe it or not, I've asked this to like maybe 30 people and maybe 50 by now in my career, and half of them don't have an answer. They say, I don't know anything yet. And that's those are immediate, like, we're not talking to them anymore. I'll finish the interview to be nice, but we're not doing that. In my head, we're not hiring.
Hypothetical. What if you ask that question and they say, this is their response, okay? This is the response. I don't know anything. It doesn't matter. I'm here for a paycheck.
I don't like that.
No?
No, not one bit.
That's
Especially
a
in today's
horrible
day and age,
response.
you can get a paycheck driving Uber Eats, Uber Drive.
Sure.
That's what I would tell them. That'd be my response
So,
in this day and age.
so what you want is somebody that's very proactive and is very interested.
Yes.
Okay.
I want somebody, when I ask that question, that's usually the first thing I ask after I tell them. There's always an icebreaker, like, tell me about yourself a little bit. Then when we start talking about research, I say, so what do you know so far about research? If they say what you just said, I'll finish the interview to be nice. I don't want problems with people, but they're not, I already know this is not them. In my head, it's
You've
gone.
already moved them out the door.
Yeah. I'm just trying to wrap it up, like, quickly.
Okay.
After, if I like the answer there, then I'll probably ask something about the therapeutic indications that we're doing, like schizophrenia. Do you have any experience in your family with mental illness?
Do you have any interest, essentially?
Yeah. Do you have any interest, like personal? Like we do a lot of schizophrenia. And an alternative to that is, do you know what kind of studies we do here? Because we usually put on our websites. If they don't even know what kind of studies we do, that means they haven't done any research on us at all. So that's another red flag right there, right? So if they do, they say, oh yeah, I really saw that you're doing like schizophrenia and Alzheimer's, and I'm personally interested. I have a friend, or I've studied this in school. Anything. Okay, I just wanna see something like that. That's usually what I do with the research naive coordinators. And then after we get to that, I ask them, what's your 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And if they have like an answer that aligns with what I can help them with, then they're a strong candidate, right? That's for research naive. For research experience, it's a whole different story. You're basically checking their CV and you're grilling them on stuff. Like, you say you've done this, well, what do you do? I'll do scenario-based stuff.
What's a 1,572?
Yeah, what's a 1572? What's a 1,572 form?
No, you should ask it that way to a research, an experienced research candidate.
Have you done that?
No, but I think that would be an excellent question. What's a 1,572?
I personally haven't interviewed too many experienced coordinator. I have some, and most of them, when I've asked them questions, they answer it properly.
Sure.
The problem with experienced coordinators is that sometimes they bring the habits from their old site that maybe you don't want them to have. But oftentimes, if you needed the experience, it means that you don't know much about research. You, whoever the owner is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you just need somebody who knows what they're doing. So if you're an experienced coordinator, just like your experienced CRA, the interview questions could be a million different things, right?
Or
What would be a
maybe-
good one? Let's say somebody applied. Let's say Carlos is here and you don't know him, but he's an experienced coordinator, wants to work for you. How do you test that he knows what he's doing? What would be some questions you ask?
For to breakthrough and with schizophrenia,
Yes.
what's some typical scales that are used?
The PANS, the mini. I guess depending on the study, sometimes you do the what's it called?
He's already passed.
Yeah, with
Okay,
those
so
two.
maybe
Okay,
we're
what's
good.
what's another one? What's another one?
What's another question?
Another, yeah, mock questions. People want to have these things, even though there's millions of them, guys. But this, you get a feel for what some of the stuff are.
Okay.
Throw 'em a curveball.
Are you comfortable walking in the middle of a study, taking it over?
Oh,
What would you prefer? Would you rather start from the beginning, take care of the regulatory and all of that, or are you comfortable with coming in the middle when the study's already ongoing?
I'd rather come in at the beginning.
Why?
Well,
Why would you rather come in at the beginning?
The middle is you might find you might have to
Might be
clean
taking
up.
over somebody's mess.
Yeah, you might have to clean up. I mean, it's doable, but then you also have to learn protocol and then clean and whatever's ongoing all at the same time.
So you'd rather start at the beginning, so we're getting the training and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have one. So we just had our site initiation visit. We haven't started screening yet, and the coordinator that I have is on vacation for 3 months. So if you were to start next week, what would you do? Because I don't know where we are with regulatory or anything. What would you do, like, from day one?
Well, you look at the charts. Start with the essential documents chart, and then look at the subjects. See if there's anything urgent there too.
Okay. Yeah, see? He knows. He knows. So this is the kind of things you ask, but it can be a million things, guys. And depends on what that person who's hiring you needs at the time. Maybe we just hire Carlos because we need somebody else because our other coordinator left. But you're going to be working with like 3 other coordinators. So maybe then I'll start asking questions about what did you do in the past? How many people did you work with? What were some of the issues you've had? How did you resolve them? Things like that. So see, guys, it's hard to predict. Research naive's a little bit easier. If you're experienced, you should know the answers, right? Most people who are asking these questions don't have the experience, so they're the ones nervous about it. If you have the experience, you have nothing really to worry about because you've done the job that they're hiring you for. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you, Carlos. You've been a great sport. Thank you, Chris, for asking excellent questions. More of a conversational style. And we'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.